Hi, Scott Weaver from Factory Direct Designers Workroom. Now we're at the point that we're going to be stringing this Hobbled Roman Shade. There are 6 videos right now regarding how to make this right from scratch, from figuring out the lining and the fabric and right to sewing the tapes on. So I'm hoping that you've watched all 6 parts of this. And now we're at the almost final phase, other than installing, is to add the cord clutches and the strings and whatsoever. So a few things that you're going to need. You're going to need a hammer, a pair of scissors. You're going to need some shade rings like this. These are, I think, are number 2 screw eyes, but any screw eye that you can find is fine. A punch and a clutch and the pull drop. And this is 1.4 millimeter cord, and you can get it in smaller sizes also. And another thing that I didn't point, well, I did point out, but the twill tape, which is 3/4 wide, you don't need this for this part, but just a reminder that you can get all of these from a company that is called Rowley, and it is rowleycompany.com. You can go on their website. They have a million things, but they have all of this stuff listed, so that shouldn't be an issue. And a few other things you're going to need. You're going to need at least a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch screw, whether it be Phillips head or hex head, which this one is. Either just a manual screwdriver will work. I just so happen to have the cordless. And an iron is helpful, and also a hot glue gun, which really is kind of a must. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. The first thing I like to do prior to stringing is to put this on its back side and flipping it around. And this is something that nobody shows you to do, but I like to do it because it helps in the operation of it. And that's to take your iron, make sure it's warm but not overly hot. You hear the steam coming from it. And to crease the back side. I'm basically creasing right where the rings are, right here. Now I like to do that because on the front side you don't get all these ripples that you see. If you watch a lot of the videos or pictures, you see a lot of ripples. And this kind of helps aid the ripples. It also helps as it's going up that it has a nice fine crease to it. So with that being said, I'm going to turn the shade around this way, and we're going to add our hardware. The first thing we're going to add is the clutch. Now on the clutch, you're going to see there's a brass ball right there. That brass ball has to go to the outside of the shade. Now if you're making it a right pull, it's going to go here. And if you're making a left pull, you're going to turn it around. But this brass ball has to go to the outside. So going to the inside is wrong. It won't work. The shade will just simply won't go up. So the first thing is to put the cord clutch on, and you're going to keep it. Well, first thing you could do is you're going to make a hole. You're going to put it up like this, and you're keeping the center of that hole in the cord clutch is where a screw eye is going to go, centered with the tape. So it's going to be directly centered with this and directly centered right where these rings are. And then you're just going to put a little cap in here. But don't drop the cord clutch. Try not to. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to put this back here, and then you're going to stick a screw eye in here. Now this is something that, if you watch other videos, people don't do. They like to put a screw in here, and then they run some funky screw eyes all the way around it. You don't have to. You're better off having the screw eye go directly in to the cord clutch hole. Instead of putting a screw there, it doesn't cause any more friction on the strings. So if you put 2 or 3 other screw eyes to get it around and go, makes no sense. But I've watched other YouTube videos, and I just shake my head on it, because you just don't need to. Now when it gets a little tough here, take your punch and just turn it with your punch. Okay. And you want it so it's going in this direction, the screw eye. Now, the next one is to put screw eyes, the next step is to put a screw into the other side of the cord clutch. Okay, so that's what that looks like so far. Now the next is to take the screw eyes and putting them dead center of these tapes. 1, 2, 3 more of them. And you also want to line up. There's a hole right here where you're going to put your strings. So you want a direct line going into this hole. So again, with the punch, still with me? Okay. Wasn't too sure if you're falling asleep. I'm almost there. Okay, then when it gets a little tough, again, take your little punch. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 is to start stringing. Now you see this brass ball right here. If I can get it real close up here. You're going to move that up and you're going to stick, I don't know if you can get to see that. You're going to stick this in there for your first string, because your string has to go in between this white one and the brass ball. Okay, so it's got to go right in between, right there. Let me get that out of the way. Get my finger. Right there, right in between. Right there is where it's got to go. Hopefully you get a good look at that. And the way you do that is you take your string, and once I get it in there, I'll try to give you a better close-up. Okay. You're going to take your punch and hold it down. So you've got that stuck right in between the two. You can take your string and put it in. You see where it came right there. And then you're going to put it through this slot. Now maybe I can show you. Right through this opening. This big opening right here. And again, let me see if I can get a close-up so you can see where I put that string. Right there, right in between the brass ball and the white ball is where it's going. Once you get it in there, you notice you can't pull it. So you have to release it. Tip your shade up again and take the punch and put it in and give yourself extra line. Then you're going to bring it through these 3 screw eyes and all the way down to the bottom of your ring. And we're going to tie it. I like to give it 3 knots. And I'll just leave the excess on there right now. And then this string, you want to bring it down good 3/4 of the way anyway. You're going to be cutting off more later. So there's your first row is done. Now you're going to repeat the same process. But now you don't need this. And the reason why you don't need it is because now you can pull up on the ball using the, let me show it to you here. Get a close up. See, now I can just pull up on the string, which brings the ball up to the top, so I can get my next string in there. Well, come on. Okay, going to come out the bottom. Then I'm going to put it back into that same hole that's on the side of the clutch. Going down my second row. Three good strong knots. And again, we're going to cut it off. Now this one's going to be different because now it's got to come out of here. So the shade string is still going in between the 2 brass balls, but instead of coming out on this direction using that side hole right here, we're going to have it come out this side hole right there, if you can see that, and then into this ring. Again, lifting up, using the strings lifted up so the brass ball comes forward. Putting the string in, pull it from the bottom, and now you're going this way. Into that hole. Then into this screw eye. And down here. And cut off. So that's that. Now I'm going to show you how I did mine on the string here and give you a good close-up. And you can see that the far right string right here is going into this divider, and the far left one is going into the opposite. Now, and then the rest of the strings are going into the center. It doesn't matter. If they all went into the center, this is a small shade, it wouldn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. That's just how I chose to do it, but you don't have to do it that way, especially on a small shade like this. So with that being done, now I'm going to come to the front side. I'm going to turn this around so I can see the hem. Now here's another part that nobody shows you, which I'm kind of amazed about. These knots can easily untie, especially on a nylon cord. So what you'll want to do is take some hot glue, and this is really kind of a must, and you're going to glue each knot. And you're also, when you're gluing, do a little tug on them to make sure they remain tight. So before the glue sets up, give it a little tug. Make sure that you have a nice tight knot, and that glue will hold it and it'll never come out. Cut the excess string off, leave about a 1/2 inch of string. Don't cut it real close to the knot, about a 1/2 inch away is fine. Now while you have the glue gun out, if you watch my method of tying the rings, and it doesn't matter, be honest with you, whether you're tying them or sewing them, you also want to put glue at least on the bottom of each ring where you've either knotted or have hand sewn. You want a little dab of glue, because the very bottom rings get all the tug. Not all the tug, but a good portion of the tug. Okay. That's how that looks. I glued right here, and I glued my little knot where I've put the ring on. So now we're going to head over here, and bear with me for a second. Okay. Come on over here with me. You can get a good close look here. Okay. Here is the string, leftover string. The next step is to put the cord pull on, a little pulley here. I need my scissors. Now, if you have a lot of these strings, you can always put a little piece of tape on here. A little Scotch tape works really good. What you want to do is to keep this nice and taut. And you're going to put all these strings in here. Like so. Now, you want to make sure that you don't have a loose string that's hanging like that. You want to make sure all your strings are nice and taut. You get it to where you want it to be, half to 3/4 of the way down. All depends on how high your shade's going up. And then you're going to want to put a knot in here. Just slip all of them in. Keeping everything nice and taut. Keep it taut. And make a knot. Make sure it won't slip out, which it won't. Take your scissors. You just want to cut it off enough that you don't see it. Okay, and then your shade goes up. You can fix the pleats as it goes. And lock. And it locks very well. Go to the other side, bring it down. And lock. So there you have it. There's how to string the shade, and hopefully this is helpful for you, and have a nice day. Catch you later.